Hi crypto kings and queens, we are looking at Bitcoin 1 hour before London session open. I want to show you during this episode is what we could potentially wait for the market to do during London session. So we're always trying to be ahead of time. If we're seeing the market retracing back down, what could we potentially look for at these targets? Will we come back down to the Fibonacci levels? Will we continue back down to the support? Will we break the resistance, break it to the downside, continue up? So it's very important before London session open so we can see what could happen during the day, because remember guys, London New York session is very volatile, so we need to figure out beforehand what could happen. We're also going down to the lower time frames right here, and we do have a previous support that just might be a new resistance for it to come back down to Fibonacci levels that we're having on the daily charts. So we're just trying to combine these together to find the best price. Remember guys, you're selling at the highest point and you're buying at the lowest point. So that is why I'm talking about we need the market to come back down, because on the overall picture, we are in a uptrend. Please remember, I'm no financial advisor. You need to look up everything yourself first, but please continue watching this video and I'll show you what I think can happen before London session opens. We are starting off with Bitcoinsensus website. Remember guys, we have always daily updates about cryptocurrencies on this website. It's very good if you want to go inside and be updated about Bitcoin, Ethereum. We are scrolling down because we have new ideas about these cryptocurrencies, but we're scrolling down to this Bitcoin price analysis that we had about 8 hours ago, and I just want to see what happened during these 8 hours and why these zones that we're having on 64,200 is very important, and the 59,900. We are talking about that Bitcoin is moving in between 61,600, and this is the line, the horizontal line that we're having right here on the charts, and that it's retesting the support. The price has been moving between 60 and 64,000 for the past few days, and we're not seeing any major moves from BTC recently. Since yesterday when we had this spike that was crazy, came back down, but now we are bullish again. And these levels, we're just going in between these levels, and 64,200 is the major resistance that we are having trouble breaking right now. We have always so good updates about Bitcoin and especially and Ethereum. If you want to trade the Bitcoin price, Bybit is one of our favorite platforms that we're using, and you can trade up to 100 in leverage on Bybit today, and you can receive up to $3,500 in bonus right here. So you can just click at the link that we're having either on the website or in the description down below on this video, and you're coming from to the front page of Bybit, and you're just putting up your email, your password, and that you're confirming the policy that Bybit having. Continue, you'll have the code received to your email, and it's a very good platform guys. We have 3,500 in bonus right now. I don't think we've ever had that high before. But going back to these levels that we did have on the website, and what happened since yesterday was obviously a lot of things. We did have this huge spike to the downside, and I remember this actually happened after I had my live stream, and the market actually came to the level that I was talking about from where I thought the market would come back down, and it did that. So that was pretty good. We did come back down to 59,900 one more time, but right now let's start from the weekly and see how it looks. So we've been very bullish. We've been both bearish and bullish this week, but right now we are bullish. Looking at the higher time frames on the daily, we can see that we did come back down to this previous resistance right here at 58,100. We had the fake out, the market came back down, retested almost a 50% of the fake out that we did have on this bullish candlestick right here. If you're taking a Fibonacci, we can see that we're taking it from the wick to the high, and yeah, we came back down to the Fibonacci, but especially on the 50% of that fake move that we had. Market did have 1, 2, 3 spikes to the downside, telling us, hey, we're not coming back down anymore. We're taking Fibonacci one more time from the lowest point at 58,400 to the highest point, 62,300. Market came back down to that level. So I would have put in my Fibonacci when I saw these two candles forming, and on the third touch I would definitely look at what happens down here. We also came back down yesterday one more time to retouch these levels on the Fibonacci. Looking at the lower time frames, this is how it looks. Now we want to see what can happen during the day, but this is what we were talking about on the website, that we are in between these levels. We are having trouble breaking the resistance at 64,200. We are heading between 62,500, 600, and the support that we're having at 59,900 is also a strong level. So what we're actually doing is just consolidating in between these levels right now. You can see that between 61,600 and 65,900, we did consolidate. We tried to break it, we never had the power to do it, and then we came back up and started to retest 64,000, and now we are in between 61,600 and 64,200. And we're going down to the lower time frames on the 1 hour chart, and we do have this downtrend right here, and that is also a descending triangle to think about right now. So because we do have this downtrend right here, so the previous lower low that we're having is around 61,800. So what can happen during the day is definitely that we can come back down and retest this support one more time. Either we will break to the upside, or we will break it, retest, and then we're coming back down to the support at 59,800, 900 one more time. At that point, we're just filling this wick that we're having also. But remember, on Bitcoin, when we're having these wicks, market doesn't have to fill them. Usually that happens on forex pairs, but on cryptocurrencies, what I've noticed, it doesn't happen all the time, but definitely something that we could look at. But we do have a downtrend on the 4 hour chart also, because we never have been able to break these highs. But it's also very tight in between the candlesticks. It's 1 hour left before London session opens when I am recording this, and usually when London session is happening, is a lot of volatility either to the upside or to the downside, and after that the market decides what direction it's going to, and that usually happens during New York session. If we're breaking 59,900, we could definitely come back down to 58,000 one more time. Looking at how that looks on the higher time frames, I mean, it could happen, but we're also making higher highs and higher lows on the 4 hour chart. So we're just trying to take the Fibonacci from the lowest point to the highest point, and that is from 59,900 to 64,100 also. What could happen is that we're coming back down to 61,500, 61,900, and start to see the market might consolidate, break it a little bit, and then we see the market create a new higher high, because this is the higher high. Market comes back down, creates a higher low, and as long as we're not breaking 60,800, we are still having a higher low. And that is very good for us, because that at that point I could find my buy opportunity at this Fibonacci level. But obviously when the market comes to these areas, I'm not just taking a trade. I actually have to look at how the candlestick is looking in between these levels. If I'm having huge momentum to the downside, obviously I will never ever have a long position on these targets. It's the same thing if we're breaking this low right here, we just might see a small pullback down. So different time frames having different trends. So we're just trying to puzzle everything together, as I always say. We're just having the market falling down right now. So we just have to wait to see when the market starts to have a support, where we actually can see the market is looking kind of healthy to go into, because this is just a falling knife, and we're never catching a falling knife, right? We're waiting for the market, we're waiting for the knife to come back to the grounds, and then we're picking it up. And this is the same thing on when we are trading, or when I'm trading, that I need to see the market calm down a little bit, especially if I want to go in a long position. I want the market to come to a good area where I've seen the market being before, and I start to see rejections, and that the market is having trouble breaking certain levels. At that point, I'm just going down to the lower time frames and see how it is. And as I told you guys, it's 1 hour left before London session opens, so it's not that much happening right now, but it's actually very good looking at the charts before London session opens, because at that point you'll have your targets to look at and see what actually happens when the market comes to that level. Looking at the lower time frames, I was looking at this previous support that we did have new resistance, And I actually took the Fibonacci from 62,700 to the lowest point at 62,400. And I wanted to see how the market did react to this Fibonacci level that we're having to the downside. Depends on if we're coming up one more time and see how the market reacts to it, or this level right here at 62,700. If we're coming back up and we see rejections, I could definitely see the market coming back down again. And the first target that I'm having is around 62,300. Going back to the high time frames, we can just copy and paste that level, and you can see that it's just not that far away. It's 62,200. It's straight. It's just above the 50% level on the Fibonacci. But this is definitely a target to look at on the lower time frames. And if we see the market breaking that level, breakout retest comes back down, the target that we're having is in between, and this is the same thing on the lower time frames as you see on the higher. So I could definitely see market coming back down during London session, and after that we just might see during New York session market comes back up. This is what I see right now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. We're just gonna see what happened during London session. Remember, guys, the lap from Asia to London market usually is very volatile. When the market lapped from London to New York, the market is also very volatile. So just trying to figure out what levels we're looking at. Very good. At that point, when we're seeing the market heading back down to our 2-hour targets, we know what maybe could happen. Hope you're having a good day. Trade with risk management. Please like this video, comment below, subscribe to this channel, and we'll see each other in the later on live stream that I'm having today. Have a good day. Bye bye.